Okay, so I didn't originally want to address this. That's a lie I did. But I don't talk a lot around people I don't know, like, or trust. This is the deal. I'm going to speak on it, obviously, because I've uploaded this video. I'm just going to go right into it. And I'm going to be fair, because in all fairness, I have never been a charyll fan in general. Never. It's never been it's always come off as conservative, even before she acknowledged to you that she was conservative. She's just never been my flavor. That's just the reality of it. We all know that I love my sister unconditionally, and in doing so, the way that I love, I don't fake love people. I genuine love people. So if they do or say some fucked up shit or something, I will say so. And everyone knows this about me. It's not a secret. Like, even in my bias, I'm fair. That's been established time and time again, that I love my sister. And there have been rare times, more than two. I almost said maybe two, but there have been more than two times that we have disagreed on things. But in so many ways, we are the Wonder Twins power that activate. I have spent some time with Miss Laura, and I do love her. We are different bands of people, but I do feel her genuineness and her love, and I love her. Samore is the opposite. Samore promotes a humor that I don't find entertaining. That's neither here nor there. I just wanted to establish my personal feelings, because it's not an issue with how I deal with things, because I'm balanced in how I deal with things. But I know how you guys like to lean toward whether you like somebody or not, which is really what built this whole thing up into what it is, because all it is a bunch of people that like her jumping on a bandwagon that's so obvious. It's so obvious. It's so obvious to anybody with common sense. Yeah, so Samore and I are extremely polar opposites, but I respect her in her craft and the audience that she attracts. I respect it. I respect Charyll's craft, whatever that is, and for whoever those type of people that enjoy it. Again, I'm fair. That's everything. It's not everybody's flavor. That's why nobody watches my channel, because I am not most people's flavor. This is why I wouldn't be great at being famous. I wouldn't be famous, because the majority of people get hit with the truth, whether they like it or not. Again, unconditional love is enabling, and support and enabling is not the same thing. And I think maybe I almost said Charles' audience need to be reminded of that, but that won't do any good. That'd be a waste of breath. So yeah, I was just establishing my relationship, which is minimal, except for with my sister. The subject at hand. I saw the original clip, and 2 days late, because I don't watch that show. Who does? Nobody watches that show. I saw the clip. Before the secret started, I was like, what is this build up that I'm seeing right now? This is a build up, like, for the show. And because whatever it is, the other females on the panel are loving it. They like whatever it is, bring it, because they can't wait. It's juicy, right? That's what the show does. That's what they do. That's the show's job. And they got some competition, so whatever. So I was listening, and from the beginning, my thoughts were, how do you get patched into a conference call and the other people there, or at least the one person who needs to push the button that patches you in, is not there to know? Like, how are you patched in to this room and nobody in the room was expecting you, to the point where there was nobody who needed to push the button to merge the call? That was the first thing I thought. So I paid attention to it, and I watched the escalation happen, and I watched the individuals on the set celebrate at this great information, great piece of information. And then I took into consideration what I know about each of the people, particularly my sister, because I'm more familiar with her than all. And in general, Black female comedians are not the type to shy away from something they said, even if it's something harsh. They deal with it. Bitch, yes. So that already didn't sound right. Anyway, so many of these things didn't make sense to me. People mistake my sister for charyll all the time. All the time. And I'm sure vice versa. All the time. Maybe it's a height thing too, because they're both really short. I mean, I see it. Not in the talent and not in the demeanor and not in the way they carry themselves at all. But just, maybe at a glance, because they're midgets. Both of them pretty tiny people. Well, horizontally for sure. My sister has always had wonderful things to say about this female. So I never really voiced my disapproval of her around my sister, because my sister was very verbally supportive of her colleagues' crafts, no matter what. I've always known her to be supportive, even when people have not been supportive of her, even when people have really thrown shade, or used shade throwing as a catapult for their careers. She will still talk up people. And I'm just like, let me just be real with you. This is one of the huge things I don't like about my sister. This is one of the huge things I do not like about her, because it opens her up to, and she's sensitive. She's sensitive. If you were a thick-skinned bitch, then okay, pump up whoever, whatever people seem to be shading you, I don't care. But if you speak highly of someone who constantly looks for ways to throw shade at you, when it becomes when it becomes a direct hit, do you know how much more your little feelings are going to be hurt? I sat back and I waited a day or two. It didn't seem like that big of a deal to me, but I guess it was the juice that was being seeked. It served its purpose. And if you pay attention, I don't know if you pay attention throughout the graduation of things, stuff will come together for you. If you have any common sense whatsoever, things will come together for you. Realistically, my sister is always, whenever we're somewhere and in the public, and she is always, I joke about doing it, the video I just put up not too long ago, do it for the children, and some other shit she was doing. Every time we are somewhere, everywhere, she's always thinking about other people. They can be horrible people. She's thinking about people. She's especially the children. She's always got a good word for children and motivational, and she's careful about how she speaks on things around children. She wants it to be always something inspirational. I have a clip from when we were, and there was a professional athlete there, and he had one of his groupies with him at the hotel. We were talking. We were outside talking, and there were people walking by, and people walking by recognized her, and they recognized him. So she's talking to people, and the girl that was with the athlete was kind of in that group, and he's talking to people, because although the people were saying, "Who are you? I don't know who you are." So he was telling who he was and who he played for. But in the background, my where I was with my camera was closer to the athlete and him explaining to a few chicks who he was. The groupie that was with him was in the group that was with my sister. And my sister stopped addressing her public to look over to the groupie girl, and she said, I don't know if she said, "What's your name?" But I know she said, "How old are you?" And the girl told her how old she was, and she was like, "Does your family know where you are? Make sure somebody knows where you are." She's looking out for this girl so this groupie don't get caught up. And I'm thinking, that thing know what she came for. She know what she came for with dude. I guess my sister just wanted to make sure she was gonna be okay, and even if she came what she came for, that she made it home safely. That was her concern before she continued to address, people that recognize her. That's the kind of person she is. I've seen her. I didn't tell you this story. I told it on Facebook a couple of months ago. We were in a indoor garage parking lot, and there was an older Asian couple. I started calling him my sensei. Sensei. There was an older Asian couple, and they were walking around kind of looking lost. And there was a guy. He looked like he might be an athlete too, a white dude. He looked like a yuppie. He was walking by them and kind of looking at them, and they looked at him like they needed some help, and he didn't want to be bothered. His privilege was the priority at that point. He didn't want to be bothered with this little old Asian couple, and I don't know what they looking for, but I don't have time. We're in the car driving around in the indoor parking garage to park. My sister, she asked me to pull over. I saw the couple, but I didn't think anything of it. I saw the white dude. I didn't think anything of it. She jumps out of the car and she goes over to help the Asian couple. Are you guys okay? Are you lost? Do you need something? Do you need to find something? The next thing I know, and she just, it was like the white dude wasn't even there, which I'm sure he was relieved because he didn't want to be bothered. He basically kept walking. The next thing I know, she done snatched this old couple. I'm telling you, the couple was old. I'll insert a picture. I know I can find it somewhere. She snatched this dude. I might even put the link to the story. I told the whole story actually in a caption to go with the picture. But she took these old people and put them in my vehicle in the back seat. She just started moving jackets that were in the seat, because I know she would do something like this. But she moved the jackets out the seat into the floor, and she's shoving this old Asian couple in the car. We literally kidnapped them, and they didn't speak English well. The English was not good. I wish I had more. I wish I had good video instead of just a picture. So I guess she found out that they were looking for the entrance to the building. And so we drove them to the entrance that they needed to be at. And while we were out there, we were touch talking because there was a language barrier. So we were touch talking and kind of talking and chopped, trying to express to them like, this is where you want to be, this is the entrance. And they were basically like, oh well, maybe we'll see you around because we live here and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, never a dull moment with this bitch. She's always doing for others, whether they're good people or not. Always talking up people, or at least giving them their respect within the realms of their quality of life. Because I'm quick to be on that bitch don't want nothing out of life, I can't help her. And she's like, no, I was there, I understand. Her patience is insurmountable for her to be so damn sensitive. So I'm saying all that to relate to character judgment on her part. And even when she does see something grimy, she still offers love. She still manages to infuse love into it somehow. Like, even when someone does something to her directly, her angle is, what made them do that though? I take that back. Her first angle is for her little feelings to be hurt until a bitch like me comes up and be like, whoa, 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 really? Like, I can't even count the times that there have been I told you so moments that from situations where I originally pulled back from, because sometimes she merges herself with bullshit ass people, and I have to pull back, because one of the main reasons I love her so much is because she is so giving of herself with human beings. And that's, sometimes the things you love about people is the same thing you can't stand. That's one of those things, because I don't want to see her soft feelings hurt. But at the same time, who am I to intervene in what God has, God put her in their lives, or them in her life, for whatever reasons. So maybe that person, my thoughts are always, maybe that person needs to be exposed to the kind of love that generosity that she has, for something going on in their life. He has a purpose for shit, and sometimes it's not for me to know, sometimes it's not for me to intervene, and sometimes for me it's for me to let it happen, and then to come back to her and not so much say I told you so, but shit, no, sometimes it's for me to say I told you so. But sometimes it's so next time, I could say, well, make a note of these particular traits and personality traits and character and habits and tendencies, and because these are telltale things that can protect you against this bullshit. So anyway, I'm going on too long about that. Look, to prey on gullible people's willingness to be conditioned will help a sociopath do what looks like winning to the basic population. They appreciate pimpable emotions, of which society is made up of, because your parents fucked up. And I'm like, how fast did bitches forget that she can't stand you nappy-headed heifers, hood rats. She didn't say hood rats. And y'all was so mad at that. Y'all was so mad. And then y'all was like, she would, blah, blah, blah. Y'all was so mad that she called y'all nappy-headed afro hair. Why would anybody keep that nasty, stinky, nappy, frizzy, jacked up hair? Or that she takes her purse out on stage with her so that you niggas don't steal it. She didn't say that either. She didn't say that. That's not. But yeah, but y'all don't disappoint me. You don't disappoint me, because to disappoint me would mean that I expected you to know better, that I expected you to use common sense, that I expected you to look at it and go, this could possibly not have happened. For me to expect you to put 2 and 2 together and realize that it's not equaling 4, and then to furthermore go back and question a whole bunch of the other extravagancies, a whole bunch of the other questionable extravagancies, a whole bunch. So I went to check that shit, and as predictable, the video has 800% more views than the whole page has subscribers, and it is currently their second most viewed video. So it's doing its job. Good move, Charyll. Good move. I bet you it upstages their most viewed video by the end of the week. It's gonna be their most popular video for quite some time. Quite some time. Because nobody was watching the show. So now, but the reality is they're still not going to. Like, this is going to cause an immediate surge. You have to, look, opportunists, before you make your move with your shady intentions, before you fabricate whatever you fabricate, I know you don't care about who gets popped during your upswing. Okay? But look out for your own self. Look out for your own self. Are you saying things that could come back to bite you in the ass? When it's all said and done, when you get what you're looking for in an instant, is it If you want to just go back to the way it was and possibly even worse, you have to think about these things, because this is going to be popular for a minute. The only thing that will make it more popular is for it to be instigated into, you know, and therefore extended as a result of everybody wanting to know what's going to happen next. Okay, she got busted in her lie, you know. But it ain't about getting busted in a lie even. It's like people with common sense can put things together. Basic things. But anyway, you have to think about it. Okay, it's going to be the most popular video on the page. If you notice, the most popular video that is not all that interesting. So that means that this is going to be the most popular, and if the other bitches ignore it, it's going to go away, and so will your temporary surge in popularity for a week. You know, if you're going to jack some people on your way up, make sure you're able to hang on up there for a minute. A minute, at least. If it was up to me, my petty self would want to really instigate some shit. But that is one of the things I did learn from I have learned from my sister, being the people person that she is. Because I am not a people person. I'm not a people. Because most people were raised in such a way that their emotions will have instantly have been pimped by fabrication. Like you don't have to know the detail. Society. Like morality is not a requirement for the bitches you admire. A person's moral compass is not a factor in seeking out what you admire in human beings. All they have to be is, I almost said talented, but they don't have to be talented, and they don't have to be cute. They don't have to be good people. And the kids follow suit. The people they admire. In fact, those are often defenses for if you point out some immorality in someone. You'd be like, oh, but they're making money. Oh, but they look cuter than you do, or they look better than you do. Really? Speaking of, isn't it interesting that all the reality show bitches, you know, if they get a second season, they come back, they spent that money on TNA, right? Like, and the occasional nose and Botox and wigs and weaves. I don't know what to say about y'all sometimes. I don't know what to say about you. But whatever I say about you, I'm not uncomfortable saying it.